Hey everyone, my name's Lavonne and welcome back to my YouTube channel. When I talk to pregnant people, what I find their number one concern is about their vagina tearing. I understand, I am with you, and so I am here today to talk all about perineal massage. What is your perineum? What does the research say? How do you perform it? And then give you some options along the way so that hopefully we can prevent you from tearing and keep your vaginas intact during your birth. But before I get started, make sure you subscribe down below, give it a like, share it with a friend, and then let's get stretching. Your vagina goes through so much during your labor and then your birth, and it needs to stretch from a little tiny hole to the size of your baby's head. That may feel really overwhelming to you, and so today I wanna make you feel a little less overwhelmed and give you something that you can control and do prior to your birth to set you up to hopefully not tear. Now, the goal is an intact perineum or an intact vagina hole, all right? With that comes less pain, less future painful sex, less chance of incontinence or peeing yourself later. And so I want to assure you that even if you tear a little bit, there's grades of tearing. I'm gonna send you to my vaginal tearing video, which I'll actually link in the description box down below for you to check out, because that's gonna accompany this a lot. That even if you tear a little bit, it's not the end of the world. Your vagina heals really nicely. But if you're interested in trying to set yourself up to keep your vagina intact, perineal massage is a great option for you, okay? So what is your perineum? Your perineum is the space between the bottom of your vagina hole to your rectum, okay, or to your butthole. And if you haven't gone down there and looked, you gotta look, know what's having to stretch during your labor and birth. Mind you, the whole thing kind of stretches. But overall, what we're looking at with the perineum is that's the space down there. Now, when we talk about perineal massage, one of the things that I think is a misconception is that we're stretching the bottom of the vagina hole, when really, we are trying to engage the pelvic floor muscles. So inside of your pelvis. So this is gonna sit right here, okay? I'm gonna sit all weird so you can imagine, all right? If you notice right here, this is the vagina hole, this is the butthole, all right? So if you look even closer, the perineum is the space between the bottom of the vagina hole and the butthole. It's not a ton of space. Some people have more space than other. Either way, it stretches. But as the baby comes down into the vagina, typically where you're going to tear is that space between the vagina and the rectum, which is why we want to massage that area. But we're not just massaging the hole. So I'm going to get to this and actually give you some instructions on how to do it yourself, how to have a partner help you, and then how to use a tool, aka PERIMOM, to help you to massage the area to set the tissues up. Moral of the story is that the idea is that we massage the perineum antenatally, so during your pregnancy or during your labor and birth. I'm going to talk about the pre-pregnancy stuff today to help stretch those tissues, prep them for the stretching of the head to hopefully prevent you from tearing. Now, perineal massage during the last month of pregnancy is the recommendation. Now, could you get in there and massage the whole way through your pregnancy? You could, but honestly, it's most effective when you do it later in pregnancy as you're anticipating your birth. So starting around 36 to 37 weeks leading up to your due date. Now, it's super safe, it's really easy to do, and when you talk about risks and benefits, there are very few risks, and I'll kind of give you some like warnings as you're doing it, but there's very few risks with the potential reward for helping avoid tearing or having less of a tear. Now, tears are graded from 1st to 4th degree. The goal is we don't want you tearing all the way to your butthole, all right? That is a horrible recovery. It is no fun. It's very uncomfortable. It has other risk factors that go along with that. So the goal is, if you're gonna tear, we wanna keep it minimal. We know your vagina heals so nicely and so well, especially compared to some other types of tissues. And so we wanna keep the vagina as intact as possible or reduce the grade of the tear or how deep the tear is. Now, if this is your first baby, When we talk about perineal massage and the research that comes with it, now mind you, research is a little bit limited when it comes to perineal massage, and some of our studies are on the older side. Either way, they're worth it, and either way, we know that the risk benefit is really nothing, right? That the risk is so low compared to the potential benefit. Let's do it. And I'm gonna recommend that you massage your perineums into that last month before your birth. So for first-time moms, if you've never had a baby come through your vagina before, we find there's less perineal birth trauma that requires sutures when we do perineal massage for that last month leading up to labor and birth. So meaning sutures, that may even mean a little first-degree tear. Sometimes they don't suture those, so you might have a little bit of a tear, but you don't actually need stitches down there, right? Now, when we look at the studies, that also means mostly episiotomies from what they found, but either way, there was more of a stretch with that first baby when they did the perineal massage, meaning you avoid a tear a little bit more, okay? Now, for those of you that have had a baby before, maybe you did this with your last pregnancy, maybe you're like, wait, this is new, hold on. I tore really bad last time, I'm really concerned about it this time, okay? There really wasn't a ton of difference in the amount of tearing based on studies, but they did find that women who did the perineal massage for a month prior had less pain at 3 months postpartum. Now remember, if you tear, those tissues have to repair themselves, and it was like there was a wound there. And so that wounded area needs to heal, and sometimes it heals really well, sometimes it has a harder time healing, and sometimes it leaves some scar tissue that can cause some pain. And it's not just pain in your vagina, but especially painful sex. No one wants painful sex, okay? So if this helps you 3 months postpartum, hallelujah, I love it for you. I'm gonna link an American Family Physician article down below that I pulled a lot of this data from. This one was probably the most comprehensive. And then if we go to Up to Date, which is my source of truth, it's what providers use all the time for our recommendations, they say that perineal massage, either antepartum, so during your pregnancy, or during the second stage of labor when you're pushing, has shown to decrease muscular resistance and reduce the likelihood of laceration or tears for patients. Okay, so what's muscular resistance? If we go back to our pelvic floor, when we look at this area inside, there's this whole musculature in here that is the bowl or the pelvic floor that holds in your baby. Now I'm gonna pull it out. Hopefully it doesn't come out like this, right? But that external bowl, like if you do your Kegel and you squeeze your P muscles, you're engaging these muscles around the vagina. Or if you squeeze your butthole, like hold in your poop or try not to fart, then that's also squeezing your butthole here with this muscle. But inside there's this bowl, and baby has to go through this tiny little slit inside of the vagina as well. And so this is literally not just right inside the hole, because you can rub just the hole, that's fine. But if we're really gonna do the work to do this right and really get the muscles less resistant, right? So it decreases muscular resistance, then what we need to do is actually go inside to reach that inner bowl as well and soften this tissue to help start to make it so that it's a little less tight. It's not constricted. It's like our muscles that are holding everything back inside, we want them soft. Like think about our labor words, right? Our labor words are soft, smooth, open, relaxed. Those are the exact same words we want for our muscles in our pelvic floor so that they can stretch and let the baby through without tearing into the muscle. So this internal bowl is a part of the pelvic floor. It sits inside and is going to hold all your internal pelvic organs, but it's accessible with your fingers or a PERIMOM to help soften those muscles manually. It's like if you get a massage. If I have a really tight muscle, all of a sudden I start like lubing up and I do a little massagey, and all of a sudden that muscle starts to release. That's exactly what we're thinking about and what we're doing here with perineal massage. Moral of the story is, I'm gonna recommend doing some perineal massage for the last month of your pregnancy. Okay, you may think like, how in the world am I gonna reach my vagina when I'm pregnant? So I'm gonna give you some positions and we're gonna talk through how to do it. So first and foremost, we wanna gather our supplies. What are your supplies? Your vagina, you need your fingers or a PERIMOM or your partner. So you need something to massage with. We definitely wanna wash our hands or wash whatever is going in there beforehand, and then you're gonna need some lube. So I recommend just like a basic coconut oil, like a fractionated coconut oil. You can use olive oil, vitamin E oil, some sort of like actual lubricant for sex. I personally am gonna just use this coconut oil here. I will link this down below. This is what I use for all my essential oil making. It's a fractionated coconut oil, therapeutic grade, all natural. Easy, but you want some sort of liquid, especially if you're gonna use the PERIMOM, which I'm gonna talk about right now. So your options for perineal massage, how do you get in there, is gonna be first and foremost your 2 fingers. Now, again, if I'm gonna reach without a belly, okay, I can easily reach the bottom of my vagina hole. And what you're trying to reach is the area on the bottom part of your vagina. We don't care about the upper part. The bottom part is where baby sits into and then stretches on the bottom part. So we wanna get in there and stretch along the bottom part of your vagina. I have no problem reaching that myself. I'm pretty flexible. Now, let's say you can't because you have a huge belly. You can always like prop a leg up or kind of get in a funky position. Or my suggestion is to try in the shower because you're already naked. There's a little bit of like heat down there. Heat will also help with stretching. You're maybe a little bit more relaxed and then you can put your leg up. Now make sure you have like a mat or something so please don't slip and fall in the shower, okay? Not funny, but put your leg up on the like stump or on some sort of ledge there so that you can reach a little bit better. Now, if you're like, absolutely not, Sarah, like this is ridiculous, then you also have your partner. So your partner can help you. This can be like a bonding experience you have daily before bed or something. And so what you'd want to do is grab your partner. You can also purchase my perineal massage guide down below. It'll be linked in like a scrolly bar-y thing down there, or it'll be in the description box because then kind of really does talk you through when you're doing this daily. But your partner then is gonna wanna watch this video and follow that guide so that they can wash their hands really well. You can even wear gloves. I am going to wear gloves when I show you with the finger side of things on my model because you will for sure freak out about my nails. My nails are not going in any vaginas these days other than the fake one. And so I don't want you to freak out, so I'm gonna wear some gloves. But you don't have to wear gloves as long as you've like cleaned under your fingernails and really washed your hands well. We don't want you getting an infection in there. So partners, fingers, I'm gonna say specifically thumbs. If you look at the shape of my thumb here, it presses in just enough, and maybe I'm double jointed. I don't know if let me know if your thumbs are this backwards. My thumbs are perfect for perineal massage because they kind of could go in, and then that's about how deep we're going. We're going only about 2 inches max, which is about this deep. Okay, inside the vagina, but deeper than just the edge of the vagina. So if I were to grab this, I've seen people like literally just do this on the outside of the vagina hole, and that's not enough. We need to engage. I wish this had a hole in it or I'd put my finger through. We need to engage into this internal musculature to be able to rub on the inside of that muscle to soften the muscle of the actual pelvic floor. So your partner's thumbs are an option, or we have our PERIMOM. And this video is actually sponsored by PERIMOM. I have been waiting to do a perineal massage video for forever. It has been on my list. They sent me this and they were like, hey, we have this new thing. It's coming to the States. It's originally based in Israel. And they were like, we just love if you'd give us some feedback. So it sat on my counter for like a very long time. And finally I like picked it up and I was like, what is this thing? So I opened it up and I thought to myself like, oh, this looks like quite the little tool here, right? And so how would you know how it worked unless you tried it yourself? So I actually tried it myself and I walked away being like, this is genius. So I wrote him back and I just was like, look, I think the design is super ergonomic. It's really easy to work with. I thought naturally like this would go on the bottom part of the vagina, but it's actually the opposite, that this part goes on the bottom of the vagina. Look at how far deep it goes. It's perfect. And then it has this little slit in it for your oils. So you don't have to like scoop them into your vagina. You literally could put it in your vagina and then drip the oils into the top hole part, and it drips all the way inside you to help lubricate the area. So my mind was blown and I was like, I would love to include it in this upcoming video. And so I'm so excited to be able to show you another tool that is now available in the United States and worldwide in different places. I'll link them down below so you can check out everything. And I actually have a promo code for you too. Great tool. And also for like those friends of yours that are really concerned about tearing, this helps make it so much easier, because I don't know about you, but like and in fact, tell me in the comment box down below if you can reach your own vagina when you're fully pregnant. Unlikely, but with this tool, it makes it a lot easier, okay? So the other option then is to use a PERIMOM. So purchase yourself a PERIMOM, and then instead of doing yourself and trying to awkwardly this or trying to schedule it with your partner, of course, your partner can always do it, but sometimes they're worried about hurting you. Whereas when you do it yourself, then you can gauge how much pressure is too much pressure, because the number one thing I want to avoid with you is tearing your vagina prior to tearing your vagina by trying to avoid tearing your vagina. That makes no sense, right? The goal is stretch, right? But there is a little bit, those tissues down there are real delicate. And so yes, you can, especially I would say probably more with your fingers or your fingernails than something like this. This is so soft that you'd really have to get in there. And I will say that when I tried it myself, I really pressed very hard and it was not uncomfortable for me at all. Now, if it is uncomfortable for you, you probably have some resistance. We're gonna work into those areas, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Moral of the story is the other option is your PERIMOM. And I personally would prefer this option. I know for me, when I'm pregnant, I'm saving this ish and I'm about to get in there and rub and soften those tissues up to help avoid me from tearing my sweet vagina. So then how do you position yourself for this perineal massage? Now, first of all, you wanna be laid back, all right? So you're gonna prop yourself up somewhere. So I put a pillow under my perineum, and what it did was it just tilted me forward a little easier accessible than having to like reach underneath over here. So you can be on a bed, on a couch. You don't want to totally sink in too much so that you kind of have that lift in your perineum, or somewhere where your partner can reach you. So if you want to lay down, you want to, when you're pregnant, remember, we want to be tilted a little bit, not flat on your back, but reclined. So you're nice and comfortable and you can access your perineum a little more easier. Okay. Now, if you're in the bathtub, you could recline in the bathtub. That's also another easy way. And with the water, that can be your lube. The heat helps you. Or in the shower with one leg up, right? So you'd be standing with one leg up this way. Some people may reach behind if they can't reach from the front. I still just think this is like awkward as can be. And so that's where I'm like, just grab yourself a PERIMOM, to be honest, because it just makes it so much more easy. But that's another option if you don't have access to one. The last option would be sitting on a toilet, because you're already kind of open, your pants are down. And then like if you have a squatty potty, which if you don't have a squatty potty, it will also change your life, that you can prop one leg up on a squatty potty, and that kind of creates more easy access to reach in and massage your perineum. That would be probably my least option, like probably the one I would go to last, but just know there's lots of options. The idea is you want access towards your vagina. So I've pulled out my vagina box here, and we have this for teaching lots of different things for nurses, but we're gonna pretend that this is my vagina. That's a little easier accessible because it's a little more forward, but you'll get the idea here, okay? So I am gonna put on gloves because I know that y'all are gonna freak out, with my right hand. So I'm only gonna use one hand. So then I'm gonna take a little bit of lube, not a lot because I don't wanna make a mess, and kind of put it all over my fingers so my fingers are nice and lubey. And then what I'm gonna do is, I think the thumb is easier. You could maybe use your two fingers. If you're doing it on somebody else, that's what I'm used to in the hospital, to be honest, and that's what your provider might do. But I'm gonna lube up, and notice my hand is all nice and like slimy now. So I'm gonna reach my thumb in, pressing downwards inside the vagina, okay? So when I do that, I'm gonna press and hold on the lower part of my vagina. So what I'm doing is this action on the lower part of the vagina towards the rectum. Now, when you press down, you should feel some stretching. It should feel like pressure, but it should never feel painful, okay? If it's ever like, you're freaking out, like take a deep breath and way less pressure. We do not need that much pressure. This is like a mild massage, we'll call it. Not a deep tissue massage, just like a Swedish style massage, okay? So I'm gonna reach inside and I'm gonna press on the lower part of the vagina. Just hold it nice and firm. Then I'm gonna press on the left side, could be the right side, doesn't matter what order you go in. Then I'm gonna press on the other side. But what I'm doing is almost my whole thumb is going inside, because I don't wanna just do a little bit on the edge here. I want it to go all the way in and press and press on that muscle inside. Now, if you are feeling or your partner's feeling, you're feeling for any kind of resistance. You may be able to feel this, you may not, but you may feel one side that's real smushy and the other side that's like a little bit more firm. If it's firm, that's what we wanna work on. That's where we're massaging into that area. Now, if we're gonna take off the glove, and I'm gonna make it a whole lot easier for myself, okay? The PERIMOM should be held in your right hand, and that makes it really easy because they have this little divot for your thumb to help make it ergonomically easier for you, okay? So then I don't even really need gloves because my finger's not going inside of me, okay? This has been disinfected, washed off with just some warm soap. And then I'm gonna grab my lube and I'm just gonna put it in the top part, one thing, and notice it goes all the way to the bottom. Is this not genius? I love this. Okay, so then this is being kind of like spooned into my vagina. Okay, then I'm gonna slowly insert into the vagina, and then I'm just gonna press the same way, hang out, put on a show, lean on back and relax, okay? Then I'm gonna go to the right, then I'm gonna go to the left, and I'm gonna look down, because what I love also about this is the fact that the purple part, if I can see the purple part, we're good. If it disappears, I'm way too deep inside this vagina, okay? So we wanna pull it out just till we see this little like purple hump here, and then you can press one side, press the other side, and that's gonna be for 2 to 3 minutes on either side. Then for a total of about 5 to 10 minutes, we are massaging. So then after that, we're literally doing a massage on the lower part of your vagina inside, right? Now you're feeling for any tension. Now, if you are the person being massaged, you're like, ooh, it feels tender there. We actually wanna work on that area. So I may say, I'm just gonna hold it there for a while. Hang out, again, watch TV, scroll on Instagram, keep watching this video, okay? And then go to the other areas and kind of get all around for 5 to 10 minutes total every day for the last month of your pregnancy. While this pressure is happening, I want you as the pregnant person to take some deep breaths. Practice your breathing. You could put on my breathing in labor video and breathe the baby down, where you're not restricting those muscles and holding back and going, ah, okay? Instead, it's a slow release. This is why also doing it yourself, I also really like, where you can just relax and if you're feeling some pressure in there and you're like, ow, that one hurts, holy moly, okay. I'm gonna breathe into it, because if you're restricting it, it's gonna restrict the stretch. So we wanna relax yourself into the motion or the pressure and the massage. So remember, it's down, hold, side, hold, and then massagey, massagey. Now, if you get bored, just do that over and over again for about a minute each. Again, 5 to 10 minutes. Now, let's say you scarred before, that you have a tear, that you have some scar tissue down there. We wanna be very careful with that tissue, because any torn and repaired tissue is more prone to tearing again, okay? So we don't wanna like rip through it again, especially if it hasn't been a while. This is more in preparation of your second birth. We're not doing this in response to being torn and as a part of your healing, okay? That's a difference. But some people also like to massage the scar tissue. So if you're like, I know I tore at the bottom, I'm really gonna work on that bottom part of the vagina hole, because scar tissue is restriction too. We wanna soften out those tissues. If you have some scar tissue that you can feel, you can take your fingers and also kind of rub on that scar tissue. One finger outside, one finger inside, and do more of this kind of action where you're pinching the bottom part of the perineum as well. Okay, that actually massage the scar tissue yourself that way. So I hope you found that super helpful in preventing tearing and helping you with your perineal massage. As a reminder, you can check out the description box down below. Check out PERIMOM, get yourself a PERIMOM, and then use the code Lavonne for 10% off your order. I do have to say that I rarely promote products on my channel, and it wasn't until I tried it myself that I was like, had an aha moment in my head, like, why didn't I create such a thing? In fact, it can look kind of intimidating, but once you get the hang of it, it is so incredibly easy to help you prevent those tears and help stretch those tissues. So I'm excited to be able to teach you about it, show you how to use it, and then also provide you with that promo code so that you can take advantage yourself. And then you can also check out my PDF download specific to perineal massage that you can take with you anywhere you go, so you don't have to watch this whole video. This is kind of like your starter, and then that's your like keep up with it guide, PDF guide that you can have on your phone or as a printout for you. And then let me know what happened with your previous births. I'd love to hear, did you try perineal massage? Did it work for you? I know I mentioned the studies before, but I will absolutely say that anecdotally, the clients that really are diligent about their perineal massage prior to labor and birth tear less than the ones who don't do anything. Now, again, there's other strategies that can help you prevent tearing. If you want another strategies video, let me know in the description box or in the comment box down below. And then I can do another follow-up on vaginal tearing. I will also link that video down below. There's so many resources here for you. I am here for you. Thank you so much for being with me here today. I hope you found that super helpful. If you want more from me in other ways, you can check out the description box. I have lots of online classes and support and really anything to help guide you along your way to a more confident labor and birth experience. Make sure you subscribe down below so you never miss a future video. Give it a like, share it with a friend. Make sure you follow me on Instagram because there's lots more going on over there. Make sure you follow PERIMOM on Instagram as well. And then until next time, don't forget to flex and flow, and I will see you soon. Bye. Vagina. Who says that? I do. Oh, Sutton. It's like it gets pregnant, bam, bam, and on the way out, bam, bam. It's a good little boomerang. I don't know how we make a boomerang. So the area, perineal massage. We're just, You're sweet, perineums. I don't know how sweet, they're probably kind of salty. Ew!